Vibing means when we were younger, we used to hang together and have fun. It's possible that you'll discover them vibing instead now. Vibing is a state achieved through unwinding, connecting with positive emotions, and generally making the most of one's surroundings. It is very similar to the older slang term vibe, which dates back to the late 1960s and refers to a sensation or flavor of the kind defined. Vibe and this term are very closely connected. Vibing can be employed in a variety of contexts, but it is most commonly seen when someone is getting lost in a wonderful discussion or piece of music. Zoomer means a member of Generation Z who was born in the latter half of the 1990s or the early 2000s, is also referred to as a Zoomer. It is possible to use it with a tone that is neutral, sarcastic, or sardonic. Yo-yo means the string toy that may be used to stroll dogs and shoot moons is known by a variety of names, but the majority of people refer to it as a yo-yo. This name derives from a patent that was submitted in the United States during the 1920s by Pedro Flores, who was a Filipino yo-yo producer. The name was inspired by a popular moniker for the toy in the Philippines. It is not known for certain which of the Philippine languages yo-yo originates from. Nonetheless, the name kum-kum translates to a yo-yo in Tagalog. Because of its immense popularity, the term yo-yo has been given the status of a generic noun. This implies that the term can now be used to refer to any yo-yo, regardless of brand, and that no American firm can legally patent this word. Yahtzee means Yahtzee. The origin of this dice game's name is not as complicated as you might think at first glance. It is stated that the origin of the name Yahtzee may be traced back to a Canadian couple who used to play the game on their yacht. The game was also referred to as the yacht at sea game. It was played on a yacht. Decades would pass, trademarks would be filed, ownership of the game would frequently change hands, and eventually, the yacht game would be rebranded as Yahtzee and sold in stores. Wingman means a man who helps a friend with romantic connections, especially one who helps the friend attract a lady, is an example of what the phrase a wingman means when applied to the world of dating. Although it has fallen out of favor in recent decades, the phrase going steady is still commonly used in the dating world. The term pilot in a plane that flies immediately outside and behind the right wing of the leading aircraft, in order to give protective support, dates back to the 1940s in the United States Air Force. This is when the word wingman was first used. It would appear that looking for love necessitates the help of a protective shield. Wildcat means there are a variety of unconventional offensive formations, including the wildcat formation, in which the ball is snapped to an offensive player other than the quarterback. The execution of wildcat plays can frequently lead to extremely unexpected outcomes, such as the quarterback collecting a touchdown pass. Wiffle ball means David Mullany was the one who came up with the idea for the wiffle ball back in the 1950s. During that time period, baseball strikes were referred to as withs by Mullany's son and the other children in the neighborhood. There were a lot of withs in the early days of the wiffle game because the early wiffle balls were difficult to hit and easy to curve. The name stuck, and to this day, Mullany's family continues to produce wiffle balls. Whether means only when it is employed in the verb form does the term weather become a contronym. This is not a discussion on the meaning of the phrase as a noun, which is the condition of the atmosphere with respect to wind, temperature, and other factors. Weather, to subject something to the elements, to cause it to deteriorate. The years of wind, rain, and snow had taken their toll on the house's paint, and it was badly chipped and worn. VSCO girl means the word VSCO girl refers to a young woman, typically of white race, who uses the photo editing software VSCO to share trendy photographs of herself. The term is typically used as an insult. Wearing scrunchies and Birkenstock sandals, drinking out of reusable water canisters from Hydro Flask, saying SKSKSK and and generally seeking attention online are all stereotypes of the VSCO lady. Vocation, meaning a strong desire to engage in a specific line of work or path of action, can be referred to as having a vocation, while the term vocation can also be used to refer to a specific occupation. Vietnamization means Vietnamization is the name given to a tactic that was used by the Nixon administration in an attempt to halt U.S. involvement in the immensely unpopular Vietnam War. This policy was given the moniker Vietnamization. The plan called for the United States to hand over full military responsibilities to South Vietnamese forces, while simultaneously preparing South Vietnam to engage in combat with North Vietnamese forces. The process that has come to be known as Afghanization has been compared to Vietnamization on occasion due to the similarities between the two wars' failures and other characteristics of the conflicts. Understood. The assignment means if you use Twitter, you've probably seen messages about performers who understood the task at hand or who were a perfect fit for the role they were portraying, and the compliments they received for their performance. This is a slang expression that means someone was successful at something they needed to do or completely nailed something they needed to do. This does not only apply to well-known figures. It is possible that a person who is well-dressed or who has the exact response you're looking for understood the task. When you say this about someone, it's the same as awarding them an A+ grade. Vestige means a vestige is a trace, mark, or visible sign left by something lost or vanished. Two-faced means at the moment, there are only 3 guests present at the dinner party. At the stroke of midnight, 2 persons had already left. What is the current head count here at the party? Left is just one of many words or expressions that are referred to as a contronym, also known as a contronym. A contronym is a word that has 2 meanings that are opposed or virtually opposite from one another. In this illustration, the word left can indicate either leave, 2 people had left, or remain, how many people are left. These 2 meanings are opposites of one another. A word that can be defined as having the opposite meaning as another is called an antonym. Janus words are another name for antonyms and contronyms. Because the ancient Roman god Janus had 2 faces that looked in opposite directions, it is easy to see how he became associated with the concept of contronyms. It may come as a surprise to you to learn that the month of January is also associated with the god Janus. These words are also known as autoantonyms, which simply means a word that signifies the opposite of what it means by itself. Enantiosomy, enantionomy, and antilogy are some of the technical terminology that might be used to describe this occurrence. Even if you don't realize it, it's probable that you are already familiar with a good number of these contronyms. Therefore, before you check out, you should look into some of the more typical ones. Two-point conversion means after scoring a touchdown, a team has the opportunity to try and convert a 2-point play. This is referred to as the 2-point conversion. The offense must start within a short distance of the end zone and successfully complete a play in order to earn the 2 extra points. This play must end with the offensive entering the end zone. Trampoline means let's carry on bouncing, and when we get to the trampoline, let's jump right on in. George Neeson is credited with inventing and receiving a patent for this spring-loaded mechanism in the year 1945. The name trampoline was successfully registered as a trademark by Neeson for his invention. Neeson claims that the word trampoline originates from the Spanish word trampoline, which means diving board. touchback means a touchback occurs when a punt or kick moves beyond the end zone without the possibility of being caught, or when a kick-receiving player voluntarily kneels down in his or her own end zone immediately after catching a kicked ball. Before the start of the next play, the ball will be moved to the 20-yard line, regardless of the outcome of the previous play. Toe loop means one of the most well-known sports at the Winter Olympics. Figure skating is also considered by many to be the most important competition of the year. The names of the patterns, or figures, that figure skaters drew on the ice during the competition are referenced in the event's name. During the 1990s, this ability was removed from the game's competitive scene, yet, its name has remained. The toe loop is a frequent type of toe jump that figure skaters are required to learn. In this jump, the skater uses the toe pick, which is the serrated piece of the skate blade that is located at the toe of the foot, to propel them into the air. A skater that is performing a toe loop will jump off the ice with one toe pick while maintaining their balance on the ice with their other skate. After completing one complete spin, the skater will land on the outer edge of the same foot that was planted in the ground previously. This is widely regarded as one of the sport's most straightforward leaps. It is quite similar to the Lutz, but the most important distinction is that the toe loop lands on the same foot that the skater jumped off of, whereas the Lutz lands on the opposite foot. Within the realm of Winter Olympic sports, figure skating stands out as a unique exception. The Olympic Winter Games were not staged for the first time until 1924. However, the 1908 Summer Olympics in London were held from April until October and included certain winter activities, including figure skating. When the General Games were held in Antwerp in 1920, figure skating was included as an event for the second time. This was the last time it was included in the General Games before the first Winter Olympics were held in 1924. Figure skating, as it is practiced today, includes competitions for men, women, and pairs, in addition to ice dancing, which was introduced in 1976. Tonka means according to legend. The name of the company that manufactures these strong toy trucks comes from the Dakota Sioux word Tonka, which can be translated as big or great. In the future, the company would change its name to coincide with that of Lake Minnetonka, which was visible from the windows of the company offices. Tiddlywinks means the game of tiddlywinks has been around for quite some time, and its origins may be traced back to Victorian England. It is believed that the term tiddlywinks originated in English slang. This term is a combination of the words tiddly, which means small or little, and a wink, which is a term used to refer to the game pieces. Tiddlywink was a word that was sometimes used to refer to both the game itself as well as the pubs and taverns that were popular places to play the game. Tamagotchi, Atari, and Nintendo means children who came of age in the 80s and 90s should be familiar with this trio of Japanese-sounding names. The word egg comes from the Japanese word tamago, which is mashed up with the English word watch, which is called a yuachi in Japanese. This is where the name Tamagotchi comes from. The phrase "I check" in the game of chess is analogous to the term Atari in the game of Go, which is where the name Atari derives from. The Japanese word Atari is where the name of the American corporation Atari comes from. Many people believe that the characters that make up the name Nintendo represent the phrase, "Leave luck up to heaven." When you take into account Nintendo's origins as a company that sold playing cards for use in gambling games, you can see how this translation makes sense. Tight end means the tight end is a hybrid offensive position that performs duties similar to those of a wide receiver and a blocker. Tight ends are often larger athletes that are able to block defensive rushers and are also legally able to catch passes. Tight ends are referred to as tight ends. Sumptuous meaning one may use the word sumptuous to refer to something that is extraordinarily expensive, rich, affluent. or spectacular. Squib kick means a squib kick is a quick and low kick that typically rolls around the ground before it is caught. A squib kick is a short kick that is intended to provide the team that is kicking the ball the benefit of having more players available to tackle whoever ends up with the ball. Sportsball means the outfielder scores a touchdown by dribbling the ball through the goalie's legs. People who admit that they are not knowledgeable or interested in sports often use the phrase sportsball, which can be taken in a moderately critical or amusing manner. It's also a humorous way for sports fans to refer to the games and activities they enjoy watching and participating in. Snatched means it's possible that the reality show RuPaul's Drag Race was the vehicle that introduced this slang term to the general public. Snatched is a term used by Generation Z that denotes a fierce or on point, particularly in reference to the hair, cosmetics, and overall physical appearance of a person. Historically, snatched is a term that originated in the black drag world. In this community, performers frequently wear fake hairpieces known as weaves. Snatched is slang used within the drag community to refer to something or someone who is so great that it makes you want to pull out your weave. Special teams means the players that are on the field for kicking plays are referred to as members of the special teams. Only some players, including kickers and punters, are allowed to participate on special teams. Slew meaning slew is an archaic word that means to cast off anything or to become shed or cast off. The phrase, to get rid of something undesirable or disadvantageous, frequently makes use of this word, and its meaning is derived from that phrase. Smarmy meaning, behaving in a way that sounds polite, pleasant, or pleasing yet is not genuine or convincing, is what we mean when we talk of smarmy behavior. Slaps means the following word is a big smack in the face. To reduce it to its most basic sense, it means to exceed or amaze. You've probably heard the word slap used in connection with music, such as in the phrase, "This tune really slaps." Another term from the past that has made a comeback is this slang term. In the middle of the 1800s, it was used as an adjective meaning of first-rate, and even earlier, in the middle of the 1700s, it was used as an adverb meaning excellently. Slaps were being used to honor a wide variety of accomplishments by at least the early 2000s, ranging from excellent music to delicious cuisine. Hip-hop lingo from the Bay Area is frequently credited as having originated the musical slap. There are a lot of other slang names that use force and motion to characterize outstanding music. Some examples of these terms are bops, whips, and slaps. A song that absolutely thumps can be referred to as a banger. Slalom means one of the challenges is going fast down a hill while skiing. To do so while following a route that zigs and zags through the landscape is a whole different matter. One of the events that can be competed in during alpine skiing is the slalom. The objective of each skier is to make it through a series of gates, which are pairs of poles spaced between 4 and 6 meters, 13 and 19 feet, apart. The winner of the competition is the skier who completes 2 courses in the least amount of time overall. The word slalom originates from the Norwegian language and refers to a sloping track. In the 1936 Olympic Games, held in Garmisch-Partenkirchen, Germany, the slalom was a component of the combined alpine skiing event. However, it did not become its own competition until the 1948 Olympic Games, held in St. Moritz, Switzerland. Today's slalom has the shortest course and the fastest turns, and the vertical descent on the course spans between around 600 and 720 feet for men, and 450 and 600 feet for women in the standalone events. Slalom has the distinction of having the fastest turns. In descending order of length, they are as follows. 1. The Super G. 2. Giant Slalom. 3. Slalom. Slinky means this one is for those of you who are dictionaries fanatics, just like us. Betty James, Richard James's wife and the one responsible for choosing the name of this toy, was the one who came up with the slinky. In 1944, Betty looked up the word slinky in the dictionary, and when she discovered that it meant having graceful movements, she thought that the term was an excellent fit for describing the toy. SKSKSK means SKSKK is an interjection that can be used to communicate a wide range of powerful emotions, including surprise, joy, and others. It's a cliché that VSCO females are always using that expression on social media too much. SKRRT means if we tell you that a slang term is actually an onomatopoeia, would that make it less hip to you? The sound that is intended to be imitated by SKRRT is that of screeching tires, and it is employed as an interjection. For instance, if someone is discussing juicy gossip, a friend of theirs might answer with a SKRRT in order to persuade them to stop talking and reiterate something fascinating that they just said. At the very least, since 2015, people have been using this term, which has a direct correlation to the meteoric rise in popularity of trap music. Simp means the term simp was not created by Generation Z, but this generation has found a way to make it their own. The term of simp is an insult that is used for men who are viewed as being too submissive to women, often under the pretense of wanting to attract sexual attention from them. It is crucial to note that this word is frequently used in a sexist manner. However, it is a contentious issue because many people believe that the term is demeaning to women and a method of intimidating males. Although the phrase didn't get widespread popularity until 2019 and early 2020 thanks to TikTok influencers, rappers such as Ice-T and DJ Evil E were already using the term as far back as 1987. Simbang Gabi means the Tagalog phrase, Simbang Gabi, literally translates to unite mass, and this is precisely what is meant to be referred to during the Christmas season. The 9 masses that make up Simbang Gabi take place in the early morning hours of December 16, 17, 18, 23, and 24. In Spain and other nations with significant Catholic populations, this practice is known as the novena, which literally translates to 9. In Spain, the Mass was frequently celebrated in the evening. It was shifted to the early morning hours during the colonial period in the Philippines in order to accommodate farmers during the harvest season, and this shift became a tradition after it was established. Even though many churches also have a night service for individuals who don't want to get up for a 4 a.m. start time, the pre-dawn session is still quite popular among those living in both urban and rural areas of today's world. If you go to all 9 of the night masses leading up to Christmas, there is a widespread notion that your Christmas wish will come true if you put in the effort to do so. In addition, baked rice cakes known as bibingka and steamed rice cakes known as puto bumbong are available for consumption following the early service. Traditional seasonal beverages, such as salabat, ginger tea, are also quite popular. Sinicization means sinicization refers to the spreading of Chinese culture, religion, and politics. The term sinicization has also been used, including by the Chinese government, to refer to China's policy of enforcing the assimilation of ethnic and religious minorities to Chinese practices. The beginning of the term is a version of sino dash, which comes from a Latin word referring to China and is used in many other terms referring to China or Chinese culture, such as sinology. Shotgun means the offensive arrangement known as the shotgun places the quarterback further out from the center of the team's formation than in the traditional position directly behind them. Because the quarterback is positioned further away from the defense in the shotgun configuration, he will have more time to pass the ball once the play has begun. This is one reason why the shotgun formation is so commonly utilized for passing plays. Self-partnered means another term that can be used in place of a single to describe a person's relationship status is self-partnered. It was popularized by Emma Watson in an interview that she gave to Vogue in November of 2019. Say less means saying say less is effectively the same as asking someone to stop talking, which can come across as impolite to certain people. This is a terse and frequently humorous method of expressing that I get it or I get what you're getting at. The R&B singer Ashanti released a new song in 2019 with the title Say Less. It is also the title of an album that was released in 2017 by the Canadian musician Roy Woods. It was first published online in 2011, although it is possible that a skit from 2021 on Saturday Night Live is responsible for the present degree of popularity it has achieved. Scramble means a quarterback scramble occurs when the play that was supposed to be a pass instead results in the quarterback running with the ball. A quarterback who is desperately trying to escape being sacked may often resort to scrambling as a last-ditch effort to protect himself. Schmooze meaning the definition of schmooze is to speak in a nice and seductive manner, particularly so as to obtain favor, business, or relationships. Salient means standing out conspicuously, being prominent, or of notable significance. Sanction means are the government's sanctions going to be enforced? That's correct. Censure is yet another frequent example of a homonym. To sanction means to grant permission, approval, or authorization. Because my parents held the opinion that violent video games were inappropriate for our home, they never bought any for us. Salchow means as is the case in gymnastics. Figure skating tricks are frequently called after the skater or gymnast who originally performed the move. This is the case for the salchow, which is performed by a skater when they jump off the back inside edge of one skate, rotate their entire body, and then land on the back outside edge of the second skate. Ulrik Salchow was a Swedish figure skater who competed between the years 1877 and 1949. Obviously, this is not the only figure skating move that was named after a sportsperson or athlete. For instance, the move known as the axel is a 1.5 rotation forward jump that was named after Axel Paulsen. Edge jumps are those in which the skater takes off from the edge of the skate blade. Examples of edge leaps are the salchow and the axel. Safety means in football, the term as safety can refer to two different things. A scoring play known as a safety occurs when an attacking player is brought down inside their own end zone, which results in the awarding of 2 points to the defensive team. A defensive positional player who is often lined up the farthest back from the line of scrimmage is called a safety. Safety is also the name of the position. Sack means a quarterback is sacked if they are tackled behind the line of scrimmage while still in possession of the ball. An instance of this is called a sack. Sa'arawing Pasko means songs spoken around the Christmas season have a way of getting to one's sentimental side. A song about going back to one's hometown for the Christmas holidays is referred to in Sa'arawing Pasko, which translates to, on Christmas Day. The fact that millions of Filipinos work outside the nation gives this a unique significance in the country, as Christmas is the one time of year when families can get together. The lyrics discuss the joy that one hopes for their loved ones as well as the anticipation of returning to their own homes. Sa'arawing Pasko is a tradition that dates back several decades, but it is still widely practiced during the months of UBR, as a component of the homecoming celebration. Round the bases means bases aren't simply for baseball. They also have a history as terms that are commonly used in the dating world. People often refer to the many degrees of physical intimacy that might exist as bases, particularly in the 1980s and 1990s. As an illustration, to engage in petting that goes no further than kissing is the definition of a first base. With each new foundation comes an increase in the number of physically intimate activities. The act of advancing through these acts in order to reach whatever act of perhaps intercourse could be considered a home run is referred to as rounding the bases. Romanization means the cultural influence exercised by the Roman Empire is frequently referred to as a Romanization, which is a term that can be found in many dictionaries. Romanization took place on a massive scale because the Roman Empire at its height encompassed such a wide variety of countries and cultures. The legacy of Romanization can be seen even today in the numerous languages, architectural styles, and cultural practices that continue to draw inspiration from Roman culture. Regalo means the word gift is conveyed by the Spanish word regalo, which is used interchangeably in the Philippines and other Spanish-speaking countries. The original meaning of the term feast can be traced back to the Middle French word regale. The term a gift or bonus is more common in contemporary usage. There is no denying the significance of presents within the Christmas celebration, both in the Philippines and abroad. Rejuvenate meaning, to make young or youthful again, or to provide new power or energy to, is what it means to rejuvenate. Regnant means regnant implies a reigning or a dominant. Rationed means this slang phrase from the 1940s has a fascinating backstory. Rationing of food and other products was a prevalent practice during World War II. A fixed allowance of provisions or food, particularly for soldiers or sailors or for civilians during times of shortage, this is what a ration is. In what way does this pertain to going on dates? Rationed, on the other hand, developed into a kind of slang term for the practice of asking women if they were in a relationship or if they were available. To answer the question, are you rationed? It's not exactly a romantic gesture to compare women to limited resources like stamps, so it's perhaps not surprising that this one gradually fell into disuse and obscurity over time. Red zone means the region between the opposing team's end zone and the 20-yard line is known as the red zone. Radio flyer means radio flyer, the name of the firm that manufactures these cute little red wagons, is frequently used as a common moniker for them. Originally, the wagons were known as the Liberty Coasters, after the Statue of Liberty, which was their inspiration for the moniker. After the Liberty Coaster Company began producing a wider variety of toys, its creator, Antonio Pazin, decided to rebrand the enterprise with a name that paid homage to his two favorite forms of transportation, the radio and the aeroplane. Since that time, the term radio flyer has been prominently displayed on the sides of the wagons. Rapinoeing means Rapinoeing is a popular victory stance that was called after Megan Rapinoe, a famous player in the sport of professional soccer. It is a display of self-assurance and excitement that involves raising and stretching out both arms at an angle over the head. Pulchritude means in this issue of the magazine, there is a photo essay that focuses on famous people who are renowned for their Hollywood popularity and their pulchritude. Prosaic meaning prosaic is a synonym for dull, unimaginative, daily, or ordinary, although its original meaning was typical of prose as contrasted from poetry. Prose is a kind of writing that is distinguished from poetry. Priority means when one's life gets hectic, it can be simple to lose track of the things that are truly important. To make priority your purpose for the year means to give some thought to the things that are most important to you and to make a conscious effort to spend more of your time on those activities. Presence means because we live in a world that is so full of distractions, it can be challenging to feel as though you are totally present in the moment. Because it encourages you to be present for yourself as well as for the people around you in all of the significant and insignificant moments of your life, presence is an excellent topic for the year. Predilection meaning a natural like for something, or an inclination to do or be attracted to something, is what we mean when we talk about a predilection. Porch pirate means a person who takes packages that have been delivered to front doorsteps or porches is known as a porch pirate. They are especially prevalent during the Christmas season, when many people shop online for gifts and have them delivered to their homes. Pogs means alongside the Furby and the Tickle Me Elmo, Pogs, sometimes known as milk caps, were another toy that became extremely popular in the 1990s. At its inception, the game was played with the bottle caps that were removed from milk or POG juice bottles. The juice known as POG gets its name from the combination of passion fruit, orange, and guava nectar that is used to make it. Pogo stick means the history of where the term pogo stick came from is actually a bit of a mystery. Several toys that resembled springy stilts or hopping sticks were likely inspired by patent applications that were submitted by a variety of different inventors. In the 1920s, two German men named Max Pollig and Ernst Gottschall submitted a patent application for one of these inventions. The names Pollig and Gottschall are said to have inspired the word pogo to be used in reference to the toy that bears their names. At the moment, a conclusive response to this one is not available. Pocket means when the quarterback is trying to throw the ball, they have to maneuver around in a space called the pocket, which is a physical location. Once the play has begun, the offensive lineman will frequently step backward to create a horseshoe-like formation around the quarterback in order to protect them. The offensive linemen are doing their best to stop a defensive player from approaching the quarterback from this direction and tackling him. Pitted means in the context of a grocery store, the acronym pitted frequently leads to misunderstandings. Pitted, characterized by the presence of pits, as a mark or indent. Due to exposure to the wind and salt water, the face of the sailor had become pitted and rugged. Pick six means it is referred to as a pick six when a defensive player intercepts a pass and then returns it for a touchdown. This type of play results in a score. Piggyback, meaning the meanings of the verb piggyback include to function or be carried on or as if on the back of another, and to put up or induce to function in conjunction with something larger, more important, or already in existence or operation. Perfunctory, meaning perfunctory is used to describe something that is done without energy or enthusiasm, as a duty or out of habit. PAT means PAT is an abbreviation that stands for a point after touchdown, and it is also referred to as an additional point. Following the successful completion of a touchdown, a team has the option of attempting either 1 or 2 extra points. It is necessary for the team's kicker to properly complete a kick for the PAT in order for the team to score an extra point. Parole means the most common form of holiday decoration in the Philippines is the parole, which may be found among the Christmas trees and many images of Santa Claus. It is simply a star or a shape that resembles a star, and it can be as small as something you might hold in your hand or as large as something that could be paraded through the streets. Due of the length of time required to put them together, these enormous ones are frequently produced at various times throughout the year. Parole are typically very brightly colored, have elaborate designs made of glass, metal, plastic, paper, and other materials, and are illuminated in some way. Parole can be found in a variety of countries. The term parole originates from the Spanish word farol, which means lantern. Parole is derived from this last aspect. The parole is said to represent the star that above Bethlehem. San Fernando is widely regarded as one of the most important cities for the drug parole. Since the 1700s, this location has been the site of processions carrying lanterns in honor of Our Lady of La Naval, also known as the Virgin Mary. In other places, they were once used to illuminate the path leading to Simbang Gabi by being hung from windows. Even in modern times, they continue to serve as a major symbol of the Christmas season. In addition, the parole are exceedingly detailed, which is a significant departure from the rice paper and bamboo parole of days gone by. Parcel, meaning a vast number or quantity of something, is referred to as a parcel. Parking means if you think of vehicles when you hear the word parking, then you're thinking in the right direction. Parking is a slang term that means the act of kissing and stroking in a parked car. It is synonymous with the term necking. This usage reached its peak of popularity in the 1940s and 1950s, probably as a result of the expansion of car culture and the advent of drive-in movie theaters, both of which altered the dynamics of dating at the time. Parking means if the word parking makes you think of cars, you're on the right track. Similar to necking, parking is a slang term for the act of kissing and caressing in a parked car. This usage was most popular in the 40s and 50s, likely due to the rise of car culture and drive-in movie theaters changing the landscape of dating. Pamasco means it is possible that the term regalo, which derives from Spanish, serves as the common word for gift, although the word pamasco is more particular. Pamasco is the term used specifically for a Christmas present, as opposed to the more generic phrase, gift. Learn some of the terms from the Philippines that have made their way into the English language, and you'll be able to keep the cultural celebrations going strong. Overlook means it is strongly suggested that you pay close attention to the following neologism. To fail to see, perceive, or take into consideration. I had not finished the last 2 problems of my homework, but I hoped my instructor would overlook this and award me full points nevertheless. Palindrome meaning a phrase, verse, or sentence, such as Abel was I ere I saw Elba, or a number, such as 2002, that reads the same backward or forward is called a palindrome. Palindromes can also be numbers. Original means a good example of a contronym is the adjective original, which, like the expression back up, has two meanings that are nearly synonymous with one another. Being original means being associated with the beginning of something. The painting had not been moved from its original frame despite the fact that it was hundreds of years old. Ottomanization means the term Ottomanization refers to the process through which the people and regions that were governed by the Ottoman Empire adopted the culture of the Ottoman Empire. Throughout history, this phrase has been used to refer to the process through which the Christian and Greek traditions of the Byzantine Empire gave way to the Islamic and Turkish customs, traditions, and culture of the Ottoman Empire.